So good, so good, so good.
Everything you want for summer is at Nordstrom Rack stores now and up to 60% off. Stock up and save on the brands you love like Vince, Sam Edelman, Frame, and Free People. Join the Nordy Club to unlock exclusive discounts, shop new arrivals first, and more. Plus, buy online and pick up at your favorite Rack store for free. Great brands, great prices. That's why you Rack.
Study
and play come together on a Windows 11 PC.
And for a limited time, college students get
The best of both worlds.
Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
I was born ready, son. Born ready.
I know you were. You were born ready, dude. James, good to have you back, dude. So happy to chat with you. Everything good?
Yeah, super good. Morning for you, evening for me. Do you know what?
Look at us making it work.
I just had a cheese omelette, so I'm a little bit slow. So, but
all right,
it'll be great. It'll be great. My brain will start clicking in quick.
I just had a cheese bagel. So look at us.
Do you know what kind of cheese did you have? Just a little bit of cheddar?
It's vegan. It's vegan cheddar. Yeah.
Love that. Tasty.
Yeah. I can't try it. I'm finding good ones. You know, it's tough. It's tough out here being a vegan that loves cheese, but that's the one area I divulge in the real stuff every once in a while because it's so good. It's so good.
Life's too short. Life's too short.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Man, I was trying to figure it out. I think it was about 2.5 years ago, 3 years maybe, when I had you on last. We had a lot of good stuff to talk about. And you and I got to see each other briefly a few weeks ago, which was awesome.
In LA.
Excited to hear. Yeah, man, look at that. Like, got to hang for a bit. And you showed me a little bit about the book. And so we'll chat about that. And I figured it was just good time to have you back because, man, the one thing we share is this love for education, helping the next in line, whatever we can do, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm just curious, since that last time we talked, what do you think are the biggest differences in the industry since in the last 2 years that are just you would have never predicted?
I mean, which I never would have predicted. That's a very good question. Firstly, thanks for having me back. That's always nice. When you're invited back, it's a pleasure spending time with you. And like you mentioned, we are very aligned in the things we want to do in the world and the people we want to help. So it's always an absolute pleasure to chat with you. So, yeah, I mean, golly, a lot's changed, hasn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think anything. Look. Especially, let's just get the cat out the bag or whatever you want to call it, like tech, AI. Do you know what I mean? I don't think anybody could have predicted that. Maybe 2 years ago because it was already on the move, but let's say 3-4 years ago, I don't think people saw the drastic shift we're seeing today. Now, I think there's so many things, Nick, isn't there? And you can tell that we haven't prepared for this conversation. So, for me, definitely.
Newsflash.
Yeah, newsflash. But I like going off the cuff. It makes my brain work, which I think is important. So,
and I love your honest opinion on it too. It's like it's a loaded question and I still trying to sum it up is so difficult. You can obviously go right to the AI thing like we are here. But then it's what truly has changed for someone who is probably right out of school or self-taught or doing it by learning on online workshops or whatever it might be. How is it different for them? Just 3-4 years ago. I'm worried.
I think there are many. Let's kind of break it down to kind of internal and external. I think that's probably a good a good way to look at it. So for me, like as individuals, I don't I don't think people have necessarily changed the way they think. Do you know what I mean? So even the people coming through the industry now, they want to be creative, they want to be designers, they want to make money out of their craft. I think they clearly have drive. I think they have a passion to want to make it succeed. I think the thing that's very different from the outset is probably because of the world that they've grown up in. Maybe their expectations, their mindset, and their opportunities are different. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think, I think. I'm going to go with positive because I think that's a kind of guy I like to be. I don't like to be one of the doomers. I think positively, like it's never been easier for people to get noticed, get seen, build their ideas, try different ideas. The barrier to entry when it comes to your ability to, for example, like I remember how much it would have cost me 10 years ago to build a website. Do you know what I mean? Now I can just do it for nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like there are so many things that are good about today. Now, I think the bigger, like tech aside, because I think the tech is definitely something that we'll probably naturally talk about a fair bit. But for me, I think the biggest thing is the mindset. And what I mean by that, especially for the way it's changed, I think when we came into this kind of design creative career, like I always looked at this as like a forever game. Yeah, especially in the early days, I was like, oh, do I want to be a designer? Do I want to be a teacher? Do I want to be a tattoo artist? But when I decided to commit somewhat, I was like, okay, this is going to be 30 or 40 years if I'm lucky. Do you know what I mean? But it will just get better. There's a process. I'll hopefully make more money, but I'm just going to keep going and going and going and going and until we, just survive, I suppose, or thrive. I think that's probably a more positive word, isn't it? But I think there's like we grew up in a world that didn't have social media. I grew up in a very small village, like I've always said, it's the story of like the ability to work in London, the capital of the UK, was the ultimate dream. Do you know what I mean? Like you'd work with your mates and you'd work in your small little village, then you'd go to your city, then you'd go to London, and that was like you'd made it. Do you know what I mean? But now, and there was no you would do that through word of mouth and bits and pieces like that, referrals, and maybe a bit of marketing, a bit of networking in the morning, bit of luck. Do you know what I mean? But now, obviously, everybody is accessible. We're in a very global network now. But the problem with that is we have access to what everybody else is doing, and it doesn't matter who you are. You always feel like you're not doing enough compared to somebody else. I think that is you're never kind of going, oh, I'm doing more than that person. You're always going, oh, I'm not doing as much as that person. And I think when you're a little bit older, you could ignore it, although it is difficult. But I think as a younger person coming into the industry now, and when I think about how people are building relationships, and you can read enough about the soft skills and the anxiety and the mental pressures of being a young teen, early 20-year-old trying to go into a job market. If I was a designer and I was sitting at uni and I go on the internet, and then every single minute of the day I'm going to be told that my job is going to be replaced by tech, you're pointless, I wouldn't show up. Do you know what I mean? It's a very difficult thing to understand and to empathize with with that to some degree, because not you or I or anybody else can live in these people's shoes. It'd be easy to go, oh, they're lazy and they're, do you know what I mean, not driven, but the things that they've had to endure, we've talked about it, COVID, the tech, the speed of everything now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't have a mobile phone until I was like mid-teens, like 16, 17. And it wasn't like a smartphone. It was a brick that I had to remember everybody's number on. Do you know what I mean? So, like,
there's no memory.
But there was still distance. There was distance from people. There was distance from work. You had your close friend network. You went to the pub. You had a drink. You met your wife at the local village. Do you know what I mean? It's a totally different world now. So, golly, like, I'm sure we'll go into the what would we do now that if we had to do it slightly differently. But I think it's really good to build that context, isn't it? It's so different, and it's tough. It is tough for people.
Yeah, it was interesting because you kind of mentioned it. What I feel like changed the most is this requirement to chase visibility. In addition to being a great designer and being a good creative and good person, all that stuff, that was something that never was necessary even, 25 years ago, 20 years ago. And I just wonder that pressure, how does someone balance everything else when the new qualification is now chasing visibility?
I would question that to some degree, because you don't have to do anything. Do you know what I mean? I know multi-millionaires who aren't on social media. Do you know what I mean? I know a lot of people who run very successful businesses and they're not even online. Do you know what I mean? So I think the pressure to do it is often maybe a bit of a trap. I don't think it's when you see certain people that you potentially admire doing it and them saying that this is the only way to get work, it's probably quite an easy trap to fall into. But I think
and social media is telling you to fall into that trap.
Well, exactly. Yeah. I mean, every time you turn the thing on, like, there's some sort of influence happening, isn't there? So look, I'm not saying that it's
to post more.
Yeah, exactly. I'm definitely not saying that it's not a very valuable resource that people have and an asset to people. But I think it's, I'm a big believer in, you've got to be where your people are. Do you know what I mean? So I think there's a lot of the, not necessarily the wrong conversations, but with what happens online, and when we echo chambers, and then, like, when I think about people wanting to belong to communities, and you find your people, you get rid of the people you don't like, and you keep the people you do like, and you'll start to think the same and stay the same, and you plateau and all the rest of it. But I do believe that, like, I'm a big believer in, like, asking my clients and, like, the people who buy from me. I do a lot of different things, and I do a lot of coaching, and I work with a lot of clients, and a lot of them through my research do spend a lot of time online, searching social, absorbing the content. So for me, it's a valuable ad for me to be quite active in those spaces. But I've had many conversations.
It's relevancy, right?
Yeah, it's relevancy, but it's also, like, I've spoken to a lot of creative people, a lot of designers who work in a particular niche. They've never really asked their clients where they hang out, what they read, where they market themselves, where they're looking for certain opportunities. And they just presume that everybody is creating content on Instagram, so they have to create content on Instagram. But their clients don't even have the app installed on their phone. So they're putting in a lot of effort into something where they're never going to be seen by the right people. So I think I think it is a little bit of a trap. I think there's a lot of things we think we need to do, but we don't necessarily need to do. And I think that would be my argument to that. And that's something that I've definitely learned through getting a bit older and a bit fatter and a bit wiser. Although I'm actually losing weight now, to be fair. So that's
I could tell.
Maybe a bit harsh on myself there, but yeah, I think it's really, really. I mean, the pressure comes from like your peer group. It comes from the people you hang around with. But I see so many designers asking other designers what they should do on their website and what they should do with their messaging and whether they like their logo and which one should they choose. But your best bet is to ask your clients because they're the ones who are actually going to buy from you. So it's always there's this great thing that this is a bit of a slight tangent, but it's a really, really powerful thing that I've learned and through something that I've read. It's this thing called the inversion principle, and it's by a chap called Charlie Munger, who is most people might know Warren Buffett. Do you know what I mean? Berkshire Hathaway, like huge investor. Like Charlie Munger was his right hand man, or is his right hand man.
Nice.
Sorry. And although I'm not too sure he's still alive, I think he might have passed away. But anyway, he had this thing called the inversion principle, and basically it was this tool that he used, or principle that he used, whenever he was about to make a big investment or make a big decision, and like rather than thinking of all the ways something that could go right, he would ask the opposite question, which is like, how would I make sure that this totally failed? Do you know what I mean? And what he would do is he would list all the things that would have to happen for this investment to fail or for this opportunity to fail. And then what he did is he just didn't do those things.
Ready to soundtrack your summer? With Red Bull Summer All Day Play, you choose a playlist that fits your summer vibe the best. Are you a festival fanatic, a deep end DJ, a road dog, or a trail mixer? Just add a song to your chosen playlist and put your summer on track. Red Bull Summer All Day Play. Red Bull gives you wings. Visit redbull.com/brightsummer ahead to learn more. See you this summer.
Bonjour, compadre. It's the
Priceline Negotiator.
How do I negotiate so many great travel deals? My greatest gadget, the Priceline app. It's got hotel deals, flight deals, rental car deals, all of those deals in a bundle. Deals, game day deals, concert trip deals. No one deals more deals than Priceline. Hold your horses, there's more. The app lets you filter hotels by neighborhood, vibe, star level, and amenities like pools and spas and beachfronts and... Wait, I'm not done. Stop cutting me off.
Priceline.
Plain and simple.
Isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Because we tend to think of
he made his own rule book.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's exactly that. But like when I think about a designer, do you know what I mean? Like, let's say, for example, posting content online. I would be like, okay, what would I have to do to not market myself to the right people? Well, one of the things on my list would be post on a platform where my clients are not. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
do you know what I mean? So, like, these are like, I think when you flip the question, it gives you a much better perspective on maybe the things you should do and the things you shouldn't do. Because, like I said, if you do the things that would make things fail, like market in the wrong place, ask the wrong people for advice, if you just don't do those things, you've got a much better chance of succeeding in the world. But on your point, like, the peer pressure side of it is probably the thing that's more difficult to remove yourself from. As a grumpy old man, it's easier for me to say that.
Yeah. There's like a second side even to visibility, and I've been really looking at everyone who's 1 to 2 years out from university, still looking for the job, not confident enough to make maybe the full-on freelance thing. That visibility they got to do is just getting a callback. Right, getting someone to be interested in the resume and portfolio that they've just sent, and so there's that even like other layer of visibility above and beyond what you're doing on socials, right? So, like that, have you seen any good, I guess, example or someone telling a story of getting found in this wave of competitors. You might be the best one for it, but how are they getting visibility even for the callback?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. And there's definitely something that I feel quite passionately about with this, is because I get the LinkedIn AI, check out my if you got any work, if you got this, I need some work, and I get PDF sent to my email,
Right.
and it's got to the point now I don't even look, because
It's hard.
it's
Yeah.
not that it's hard, it's just that I know that person isn't putting in any effort. So
Interesting.
what I like, the things that I have, like, there's lots of things in here, do you know what I mean? In my space. There's also lots of things I've been sent by people, designers, like little printed portfolios, all these
Right.
wonderful things.
Those are the best.
Yeah, and those are the things I keep. And those are the people that I remember because they went a little bit above and beyond what the normal person would do. And I think
Yeah.
there's we have, as creative people, this creative brain, do you know what I mean? And I think I often don't feel that we use it to its kind of best capacity, especially when we're in times of, like, creativity doesn't thrive in panic. Do you know what I mean? It very much shrinks, when anxiety and panic are involved, and when you need to get a job, and when you've, sent out like a few hundred, resumes and heard nothing back. I'd be like, okay, yes, that's bad that maybe people aren't getting back to you, but you got to remember that they're probably also getting sent hundreds, if not thousands, every single year. And what they might be seeing, you might be going, oh, I'm sending out 100 a week and I'm hearing nothing back. What people are probably seeing is like, you're clearly sending this out hundreds of times a week and I'm not putting any effort in. So are you the kind of person I want on my team? So like I said, we have this brain. It's a very creative brain, I'd like to think. We use it to solve particular problems, critical think, and to have fun, to build a little bit of a playground. And if sending out your resume, for example, via email, via LinkedIn or any other job board isn't quite working, isn't getting you the visibility or the attention that you're looking for, do something different. Do you know what I mean? Why not say, do you know what? For the next 3 months, I'm not going to send out hundreds. I'm going to go back to my favorite 10 and I'm going to go and knock on their door. Or I'm going to go and
send something real.
Yeah.
Right.
Build something.
Yeah.
What can I do?
Exactly.
What can I do to get their attention? Do you know what I mean? Because it doesn't even have to be your work. You could literally go and stand in front of their offices with a box of bagels, do you know what I mean? Or some donuts, knock on the door and say, hey, I'm here. Somebody ordered donuts. Can I bring them in? Nobody's going to say no. You open it up and it's a printed portfolio. Do you know what I mean? It could be absolutely, like, there's so many clever ways in which you could have fun with this kind of stuff. Because ultimately, this is why, again, to kind of like weave off this point ever so slightly, when we talk about the tech and the AI and everybody's talking about going upstream and like being more of a strategic thinker and all this kind of stuff, which I think is right. I think execution is going to get easier and easier and easier. But like, when I think of strategy, it's actually David Trott who says this best. And I can't quite remember exactly what he said, but he talked about strategy, and strategists, like, their only job is to be right. So the strategist is to make sure that you're right. Do you know what I mean? But the creative's job is to make sure that it's remembered. Do you know what I mean? So a strategy that isn't remembered is bollocks. Do you know what I mean? So this is why I get slightly upset when everybody says, well, creative execution is going to be like those jobs are going to be lost. It's all going to be about strategic thinking. And I actually don't agree with that at all. I truly believe that without good creative, it's the strategy is somewhat pointless. It has to be executed in the right way. And like I said, like the problem, like if you think about the classic, problem solution, the problem is I don't have a job. Do you know what I mean? The solution is to do whatever I can to make sure I get a job. So the question I would ask people is like, are you doing everything you can do physically to get a job, or are you doing what is expected? Because sometimes being unreasonable and being a little bit unpredictable and a little bit unexpected is the stuff that actually catches fire. Do you know what I mean? So
going
that's
above
the way
and
I would
beyond
look at
the above and beyond what everyone else is doing. And it's funny, like, give yourself the freedom to be creative for yourself. I think we do it so often for who we get paid by, right? But sometimes we're not thinking the same strategy for ourselves to create that little piece. There was 2 great examples I saw, or I can bring up to this thing. At Crop, we did the student portfolio reviews. So Matt set up, had a bunch of kids from local colleges throughout the kind of Texas area. One girl, her real name is Joan Jett. I'll never forget her. And everyone was like,
JJ.
no, that's her real name. Like, her parents named her after the rock star, the whole thing. And she leaned into it. So she had this incredible logo of Joan Jett kind of in this rock star thing. If it was me doing that, it would look cheesy, right? But she got to do this because of her name and the instant recognition to an 80s, rock star. So anyways, she made a beautiful little, just slightly big, about, twice as big as a business card, tiny little stapled mini portfolio. And that thing got the rounds. It got passed around to every professional, and they were going, that's how you stand out. That's how you leave a mark. She had an opportunity. She knew she was going to be 20 pretty connected, designers in that industry. And what a value. I brought that into my class the other day to show the other students, because they're in that zone right now of graduating and everything. And they looked at it. It was like it was the most foreign thing they've ever seen, and I was like, paper, like real. So pushing back to maybe, like you said, with all the tech, use the tech to get you an idea and help you, but go analog with the deliverable. And that stands out. No one's getting physical things any longer for these job things. So make that a point. And the second one is our buddy Dan. He gets from Lincoln, he gets so many things when he puts out the job rec for you guys, right? And what stands out to him is the person that takes the time and puts together the ultimate mailed in, like, physical portfolio. Wow. Come on. Like, there's your, and like you said, you don't do it to all 100, you do it to the 4 to 5 that are drop dead the best opportunities that you would want to go for.
Yeah, I think I like to think of it as well, like there's a big reason that all of these like arcade games and toys and stuff from like the 80s are now worth so much money, is because all of us who couldn't afford them as kids can now afford them as adults. Do you know what I mean? So we have that.
I need an asteroids machine right here.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, like, there is that nostalgic.
True.
And I'm going somewhere with this. There is that kind of sense of like, I grew up in, tattoo studios, and I couldn't necessarily afford any artwork when I was growing up. And I always had this dream of like, when I'm older, I want to build an office that looks like a tattoo studio that's full of stuff. Do you know what I mean? And I've got it. Like, this is what I spend my money on. So when I think about the portfolio, the how to get people's attention, the people that are running these studios now, on the whole, are the 40 to 60-year-olds. Do you know what I mean? And like, what did they love when they were your age? Do you know what I mean? Going back to the 80s and like, what was cool? What did people do? Like, what will trigger a meaningful moment and a memory in them that they'll look at and go like, oh God, yeah, those were the days. Like, and it is things like, it is the printed books, it is the magazines, it's the zines, it's all of these things. But there are also like multiple other ways in which you can like express yourself and do the work and to get noticed. But I think that's a really I actually think it's a very, you know, it's one of those things that when you, it's like the inversion principle, like when you hear all I had to do was like create a cool piece of print and send it to them in the post, and they would give me an interview or at least give me, you know, an answer, you'd be like, oh my God, that was so easy. But what I was doing was I was following all these trends on the internet. I was sending out hundreds of emails. I was like getting like all of this anxiety because nobody was getting back to me and blah, 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 blah. Do you know what I mean? Now I'm not sitting here saying that is not effort well spent. Like, I'm never going to belittle, because I can't live a day in anybody else's shoes apart from mine. But if I was knowing what I know, if I was somebody who was breaking into the industry right now, I would be like, all the ideas in my head, you know, I would be kind of trying to build, if not build, at least half build. And I would have this portfolio of all of these crappy, half-formed, crazy ideas that were just so impossible, so big. But they allowed me to kind of flex my brain to some degree, because people who are going to hire you are definitely looking to, you know, I mean, I do enough research to understand that, you know, the portfolio is, yes, it's a great way to get you in the door, but that's also just a very small percentage of the thing. Like, you've still got to be able to nail the interview. You know, you've still got to be able to come across as somebody who is like, can work as a team, you know, has this ability to critical think, has this ability to be agile and adaptable, and, you know, probably has different, you know, a different take on different things, probably has a bit of a point of view. Like, so as much as we are kind of going around the houses here a little bit and like talking about how important this portfolio is to be visible, like, I think it's also, I would also to some degree, like, if there was like 2 printed portfolios, for example, one was absolutely crackerjack and one was like good. Do you know what I mean? But the person who was good looked me in the eye, smiled, talked to me, was funny, you know, I could see them being involved in my team. And this other person who had the banging portfolio was a bit of a mumbler, didn't look me in the eye, didn't shake my hand, kind of just like didn't seem that interested. I'd be choosing the human all day.
Yeah.
So I think the work is, again, it's very, very important. It's a thing that will definitely get you in the door, but like, you as a human, the things that excite you, your passions and your drive and your humor and your weirdness are the things that will actually probably get you employed. Because that's why so many people with great work don't have work, because I think they struggle with that kind of softer skill communication thing.
At first, I didn't think it was real. I woke up to this blinding light, and I was transported to another place. Pluto TV. Then I heard a voice.
Come with me if you want to live.
There were thousands of movies and shows, and they were all free.
The truth is ours.
It's just so beautiful.
On Pluto TV, free streaming of Terminator 2, Fringe, Arrow, The 100, and The X-Files may cause excitement, loss of sleep, and sudden belief in extraterrestrials. No credit cards or alien encounters necessary. Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
Get business done with the new American Express Graphite Business Cash Unlimited card. With unlimited 2% cash back on all eligible purchases. Unlimited 5% cash back on flights and prepaid hotels booked through American Express Travel Online. And a flexible spending capacity that can grow with your business. You'll have the confidence to keep building. Apply today and earn a welcome offer of $1,500 cash back after you spend $50,000 in qualifying purchases on your new card within the first 6 months of card membership. Terms apply. Learn more at go.amex/graphite.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, it's tough.
And trying to crush that with a lot of the young students we get is really tough. I know giving them something that, when we met, what was it, last year, and went out to breakfast, and I brought a bunch of my current grads, you gave them a really good project, but it was more of a challenge, and I've seen it help them. You told them the story of, you walk in and you're going to have the portfolio that everyone's expecting you to have, right?
Yeah.
But what if you come in with this, but I've got this other little project that's all me, not from a teacher, not from a brief. Do you want to see it? And the way you presented that, they all, I made that a project in that class. So they all had to do it because they needed the grade.
Yeah.
But they made something so personal, a little bit more analog, a little bit more quirky. But you know what that did, James? It gave them the confidence they needed. When they presented that, they presented it so much better than anything else we had done in the past, because it's theirs. It was their personal stamp. So whatever you're making as that part B, there's you and then your portfolio, right? But part B is that secondary thing that you were kind of spearheading there. That gives you the confidence to speak better because it's right from the heart, and if you're looking for that passion project to do, there's your brief. Brand something you're passionate about and make it a unique project.
Yeah, I don't even think it needs to be a complete project. Do you know what I mean? I think we've kind of...
You're right.
We've coined it as almost it's actually a thing that me and my buddy
What does that mean,
talk
right?
about.
It could be anything.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. We call it the second portfolio. Do you know what I mean? So it's this, it's this thing that is full of all of your crazy ideas, and like I said, they don't have to be finished or fully fleshed out, but those are the things that I believe people are more interested in, because they're okay, without any rules, without any boundaries, without any client feedback, this person has the ability to think like this. Do you know what I mean? So when I bring them into my studio...
Shows everything.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it doesn't have to be fully formed or fully worked out or a totally complete idea. But in that second portfolio, you do have the ability to... a big thing is I talk about it a lot, a playground, fun. I think a lot of creative people do struggle to have fun. The doom and gloom, the I need to show up on Instagram all the time and post on YouTube and grow my audience, and those things don't fuel me. Do you know what I mean? And clients are annoying me. I'm not getting any job interviews. It's it's not fun, is it? Do you know what I mean? It's not a fun world. So to find ways in which you can have fun and explore and push your creativity on your own projects. And this is, again, going back to what I truly believe and the things I talk about in the book as well, which is this idea of, you can use your creativity for yourself as well as your clients. And that is what a big drive in the book is all about, because I think about, I can only ever speak from my own point of view and the things that I've experienced, because I would never try and do it any other way. But I believe the opportunities that have happened in my life have come from my ability. And hey, I am not perfect, and I still fuck a lot of shit up, and I am not finished by any means. But there is this, I have this drive to complete and action my own things, my own ideas, my own brands, businesses outside of client work. And that becomes a playground for me that actually fuels client work, and vice versa. The client work fuels my ideas over here. So I truly believe that in this world that we're going into, I would 100% urge creative people to push their entrepreneurial spirit, their creativity. Because when I think about being employable and being entrepreneurial, they're actually very, very similar things. People segregate them, but they're actually very, very similar. When I think of the things that things that make you employable, teamwork, problem solving, adaptability, bit of a risk taker. If I see these things in the people that are trying
self-starter.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And I think if I look at that, but call it an entrepreneur, it's the same thing. Do you know what I mean? So why?
Yeah.
Well, but also when I think of employable, I don't necessarily just think about getting a job and working for the man or working for the woman or working for the corporation or whatever it is. I think about it as the way I partner with Canva, the way I partner with Lincoln, the way I partner with Affinity, the way that people want me in their world. That's them employing me to some degree in a partnership to come and think of ideas and to build things with them and push ideas in other aspects. So I think people think employable is essentially this kind of one narrow, I get a job and then I work a 9 to 5.
The 9 to 5.
I'm miserable. But being employable, having the traits of somebody employable is actually very similar to the traits of being entrepreneurial, I personally believe. But then again, I do speak a lot of shit.
You just even answered the first question about visibility. The things that you've structured and created as the pillars for you are visible and seen and understood, and you can't get to those levels without all of those qualities, right? So that's why someone will attach to you, because they've seen it. The proof is there, and you do it in a very organic way. It's not, here's my handbook of who I am. It's just your passion and what you do for the industry, I think is the best. That's the stuff. That's like an instant spotlight. And I think it's proof. You know what I mean? And that's what, and you nailed it. It's the same exact thing. An entrepreneurial to a hireable person. You can look at the similarities, and I don't think anyone's really spelled it out as clear as that,
I think, I'm, people's branding mentor is what I'm kind of playing around with right now, which I'm quite enjoying because, I'm all about the people, and I love mentoring people. But, it's this idea of a brand, essentially. I think the word brand has been somewhat stolen and hijacked and probably misused. It's like the way we always say we love each other. Do you know what I mean? Love you, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Love you, I love you. It's just misused. And I think due to social media, it's become a shortcut for a lot of things. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think anybody's right or wrong. I just think it's maybe
it
lost
just happened.
It's just lost a little bit of its kind of identity brand a little bit. Do you know what I mean? I think it gets confused. I don't think you have a brand just because you designed one. Do you know what I mean? I think it's something that's earned over a long time, and it's quite easy.
Do you remember when brand was only used by anyone in marketing or design? Now it is, I'm a lawyer and I need a personal brand, or I'm this.
I mean, exactly. Don't get me started on personal branding.
The word has expanded. The definition stays the same, but that word and the amount of people using it, because it's such a buzzword and it sounds good. Particularly the no bullshit branding is the one I wanted to talk about.
Oh, that's a good one. But that's
I was waiting. That segue was there.
It was there. I set you up for it as well. It was great, wasn't it? We planned it.
Of course you did. You're a pro.
Yeah. So, but it's for me, when I talk about removing some of that, you only have to spend a little bit of time on LinkedIn and read a few people's bios, and you're I'm even in this world and I don't even know what you do. Do you know what I mean? Just tell people what it is. So when I talk about no bullshit, for me, it's just about, I don't call anything out to any real degree. What I kind of break, I'll kind of break the book down into chapters. And the section one is kind of how branding lost its way. And I talk about the history and, some of the mindset issues and the complexity and the democracy, or how all of these things have, I believe, cultivated, branding as being maybe slightly lost and helped it kind of go off track to some people in some ways. And then I kind of tried to break it back into what I believe it is. And what I believe a brand is, and I speak to my friend Kevin Finn about this, and I think that's very, very important to just very quickly say, is that everything I know I have learned from other people. Do you know what I mean? Yes, I've brought my own spin and tweak and, play on certain things, but like this proves like that everything that I know has been from the books that I've read, from the culture I've absorbed, to the movies I've watched, to the people I've had conversations with, to the people that mentor me, the people that I follow. Like everything I know is from everything that I've absorbed. So my point there is like absorb more things, because then you have more things to draw from. Do you know what I mean? I think Steve Jobs talked about it.
You have to live a life.
Yeah, it's like having more dots to connect. He talks about it. Like if you're just reading design books, you're going to have a certain like perspective. If you're reading lots of different things from different cultures all around the world and different subjects and different industries, you're going to have a lot of different things to pluck from. So, and that's how creativity happens, when you can connect those dots in slightly different ways. I think that's what Steve Jobs said. But
it's a lost art.
And essentially for me,
even before digital, even before
100.
digital and screen, now it's even gotten so much worse that people aren't even getting out enough, let alone what they do when they're out. And you're right, all those little nuggets make up who you are and what you're responsible be to giving someone advice or getting advice or whatever it might be, right?
Yeah, very much so. That for me, like when I talk about branding, so like me and my friend Kevin Finn talk about this as like a brand is a recognizable reputation. And the reason I like brand being a recognizable reputation is because it makes it a little easier for me and for me to explain to my clients. It makes it easier to have that conversation. When I have a conversation with somebody who knows brand building and the branding process, like we could have slightly different ideas of what that is and maybe not quite understand each other still. Do you know what I mean? But when I talk to my client, I talk to them about branding, like there's such a big gap there, and they focus on the visuals and they focus on the stuff that they see and they think that's a brand a lot of the time. You have to educate them to some degree. So the reason I like this idea of recognizable reputation is because it's slightly easier to manage, and it's slightly easier to articulate and communicate to people, especially my clients. And when I talk to my clients in that kind of way, as about like what we're trying to do is we're trying to build your reputation, and to build your reputation we have to do a certain amount of things consistently so we become known for it. Do you know what I mean? So whereas if you're talking about the brand and the kind of sizzle and like archetypes and all this stuff, like golly, I mean, I get bored of that stuff. So, not that there's anything wrong with it, but it's just not for me. I think this kind of recognizable reputation is such a great thing because it's something that they can relate to, and it's something that you can communicate them like with great ease. So like you can say to them, like, do you have like a certain mate that you'd always go out to the pub with, for example? And they would go, yeah. And I could go, well, what is it about them, do you know what I mean, that you like? It's like, well, they're always fun, they're a good laugh, blah, 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 blah. And I go, okay, well, would you choose that same friend to pick you up from the airport at 3:00 in the morning? And they would go, no, because they're always late and they're always, hungover. Do you know what I mean? So like we all have friends who we choose for certain situations. Do you know what I mean? And that's how a reputation works, because they're always good fun at the pub, or they're always able to pick us up in the morning because they don't drink. There's certain people and certain brands, reputations that you would choose in certain different environments. And I think I think there are ways in which you can, I think I've got this thing called the reputation grid, which is like obviously a grid. Do you know what I mean? It's like made up of 4 things, isn't it? Quadrant. Do you know what I mean?
Quadrants.
So and in those quadrants, I think there's 4 things, and I think if I just want to kind of leave, or just kind of give people something to think about when it comes to reputation and brand, or brand being a recognizable reputation, I think, think about this reputation grid, and within each quadrant, there are different words, and in the, so we got top right, we have competence.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. Ooh, they said ooh.
Like that.
I like that.
No, because I've seen so many of these grids, and I was curious about what your 4 quadrants were, because this is all zeroing in on reputation, right?
One crunchy bite of a Hershey's Cookies and Cream Bar, and I'm taken right back to college move-in day. I was a little overwhelmed by the newness of it all. Boxes were everywhere, I needed a break from unpacking. But just as I was able to take a breath and open my Hershey's Cookies and Cream Bar, my new roommate Rachel walked in. I offered her a piece, but she said no. Then after a beat, she said, actually, those are my favorite ones. We laughed. The ice was broken, and we've been friends ever since.
Hershey's. It's your happy place.
Now at McDonald's, a McDouble is $2.50, so you can get your gym gains on. Or just get lunch for only $2.50. Get more value on the under $3 menu.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Yeah, 100%. So I think this is the way to kind of nurture and build a recognizable reputation. Also, or more so to kind of essentially manage it.
Okay.
And I think that, like I said, I think there are 4 things that we need to focus on as individuals, like whether you want to build a brand as a human, or you want to build a brand as a company or a business. Like if we focus on these 4 things. So top right-hand corner, we have competence. All right. And what I mean by that's essentially the competence, not just of your craft, but also, are you competent at the things you do? Are they competent, the way you show up? Are you reliable? There's so many ways in which you can be competent, but it's essentially, can people rely on you to do what you say you'll do? Do you know what I mean? But that is everything outside of the craft as well. Okay. So then in the top left, we have integrity. You can tell I'm dyslexic because I started top right. John,
he's like bing bong, all
over the place.
All right.
So integrity for me is
that.
essentially, do your actions match your values, and your words? Do you show up as the person you say you are? It doesn't matter where you are, and in whatever situation, whether it's as I said, like a coffee with a client or at a design conference or online, are you consistently showing and being very consistent with your words and your values? So integrity is a very, very important one. Now, where shall I go? Where does my dyslexic brain want to go? Let's go to bottom right. Yes, good shout. And I'm gonna that's narrative. And narrative is how your story is told and how believable it feels to others. So it's very aligned with integrity, but people need to be able to talk about you and share your story very consistently. And you need to be able to do the same, which is why, again, it's very important to be... remind me to talk to you about the deeds model before we leave, because that's very good as well. I say very good. That's such
what I love about these already is, even though this is in a quadrant or your grid, I'm seeing the circle and the unity of all these words. They have to. You can't have one without the other.
No, you need to be working on all 4. And then the final one is community.
What's the final?
Community. And what I mean by community, although it's such a buzzy word right now, it's essentially it's much better than audience though, because community is very different. It's almost like this kind of horizontal playing field where we're all kind of helping each other, rather than like an audience. I think is almost like somebody at the top's got this megaphone and talking to everybody else. Do you know what I mean? Whereas a community is all for everybody. So when I think of community, it's essentially thinking about who is in your corner helping you share your story, essentially. So those can be the people that follow you on Instagram or YouTube, your subscribers, but they can also be your clients. They can also be your friends. They can basically be all the people that are essentially saying your name when you're not in the room. Do you know what I mean? So that is what I think of a community kind of aspect. So integrity, competence, narrative, and community. And if you are consistent in all 4 of those areas over a long enough time, and you're working on them all and proving them all and evidencing them all, you will essentially build a trustworthy brand. Because the reason that we try to build I should say trustworthy business that we hope is one day a brand, but let's just, for shortcut's sake, just call it a trustworthy brand. The reason we try to build a trustworthy brand is because we are trying to remove friction. Because when we remove friction, it makes it easier for people to say yes to us. Do you know what I mean? We become what I would classify as a safer commercial choice for people. Do you know what I mean? It's easier for them to give us money, because whether we like it or not, and whether the internet would agree with me or not, there's only one reason why we try to build a brand. And a brand is essentially a manufactured thing, and its one role and its one job is to make money. Do you know what I mean? That's its job.
Yeah, plain and
That's
simple.
its role. So, which is why you can't have an authentic brand, because you can't be truly authentic when your agenda is to make money, because you leave stuff out and include more of the stuff that you think will help you sell. Do you know what I mean? So,
those stand out like crazy now. A lot of these brands that are like either greenwashing or trying to look community driven or all from the heart, they still got to make money.
Oh yeah,
and
I mean that's
it's hard.
that's
when they push too far with it.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. We all need to make a wage, and we all need to find our way in the world. But I think it's really, really, like, this is why, like I said, we probably don't want to get onto this too deeply. But when I hear like authentic personal branding, like, it's a massive contradiction. Like, if you individually, those words should never be in the same sentence, because there's just so many things wrong with that. But I've been told off too many times on the internet to warrant any more time with that. But like, for me, it basically means people don't know what authentic means, or they don't know what brand is. And that should be a worry for people. So, but I mentioned the deeds model.
Yeah. What's that?
It's lovely, Nick, is what it is. So, so I talked about, and this is another kind of cool little thing that is something that I'm very excited about, which is your deeds. So it all aligns with reputation. So your deeds dictate your reputation. Do you know what I mean? So that's a nice thing to remember, and it's stuff that we're taught when we were kids. Do you know what I mean? So, when I think of deeds, DEEDS, your deeds dictate your reputation.
Yes.
So, the first D of deeds is decide what you want to be known for. Okay, so see this as like an operating system, I suppose, or a framework for building a reputation. So to build a reputation, you have to build your deeds. Okay, so the D is you have to decide what you want to be known for. Now, that will, some people might say, well, I don't really know what I want to be known for, but like, just knowing that you want to be a creative or knowing you want to be a designer is enough, because even still today, I'm continuously evolving what it is I want to be known for. But do you know what I mean?
Still don't know.
It's still there. Do you know what I mean? It's like this. But you've got to have some sort of idea. So decide what you want to be known for. All right.
I love that.
Do you want me to finish? Shall I finish? Do you want to go? Are you going to say something? I saw you.
No, I keep flowing. I'm dying to know what the first E is. I'm going to say, let's see. Decide. It's probably like execute.
You're wrong, Nick. So,
thank you for your you for your honesty.
So,
am I in the zone?
Not at all, mate. Well, you kind of, yeah. So, so these are sequential as well. This is it, which will probably help. So, first D, decide what you want to be known for. Okay. The first E, educate yourself in alignment to becoming that person. So you decide that you want to be known for this. I love that. Firstly, the first is educate yourself in alignment. So what can you do, absorb, read, watch, educate yourself on that helps you become that person that you decide you want to be known for. Okay. So the second
Killer.
E is evidence the process of that. Do you know what I mean? So you've educated yourself on the thing you want to be known for. And now what you need to do is build evidence that you are that person and that you know what you're talking about. Okay. So you have to evidence the process. And that could be like, building little pieces of IP. It could be like sharing like case
testimonials.
Studies. Exactly. Testimonials, gathering all of this evidence that you can do the things that you have decided that you want to be known for. All right. Then,
all right.
The most important, interesting thing about evidence is that we all have evidence, but not everybody has access to all the evidence. So, for example, Nick, you have probably done 1 billion projects with 1 billion different humans, and it's impossible for me to access all of the evidence you have because it's just impossible. Do you know what I mean? It's just impossible. So,
yes. That's what stops a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. So what you need to do is you need to demonstrate the proof. Do you know what I mean? Because evidence and proof are very different. Evidence is all the stuff you've done. Proof is what you show.
Yeah.
Proof is you showing the evidence.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Because I think of like
demonstrate,
which helps perception. Okay, so let's think of a bridge. Okay, so you've got evidence on one side of the canyon, and you've got perception on the other side of the canyon. The thing that joins them, the bridge that joins them, is proof. Okay?
Yeah.
Because there is no
Plain and
perception without any evidence. You need the proof. All right. So
it.
demonstrate the proof. And you do that by your marketing, your advertising, or whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? So you got to demonstrate the proof of the evidence. And then I'll see if you can guess the final S.
The S? All right, so we've got decide, educate, evidence, demonstrate. Gosh, S.
Do you want me to put you out of your misery?
Good one, dude. Go. It's all you.
Stay in the game long enough for it to compound.
Ooh, it has to. That puts the final. That's the period at the end of this.
Yeah,
you need deets with a period.
Yeah, so decide what you want to be known for.
Love that.
Educate yourself to become in alignment with that person. Evidence the journey, evidence the process, demonstrate the proof, and then stay in the game long enough for it to compound. And the final S is the key. Because if you do the D, the E, and the D for a year and then give up, pointless.
You didn't give it enough time.
Yeah, you didn't give it enough. You didn't stay in the game long enough for it all to compound. Like the people that are listening to this, the people that you look up to, all of these like fantastic designers that you look up to, they have been doing this for 20, 10, maybe 30, 40 years. They've stayed in the game long enough for their evidence to build up. They decided that they want to be known for. They stayed in the game long enough. They prove it. They demonstrate it. And they continuously educate themselves on getting better and better and better. Do you know what I mean? They're on the road to mastery, knowing that they'll never quite get there. But that's the whole point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm glad you highlight with that, because I think a lot of people want the instant gratification on things so quickly now. They think 2 posts is going to get them somewhere. And here you are saying, no, I'm showing you someone's career is already done. They've packaged it into the D, the E, and the D. But now the S is saying, stick with it. Be there for a while. Because it has to compound that way.
It's the, other thing, I always like to kind of think about, this kind of thing as conversations. Do you know what I mean? So I started, a conversation with my wife, 25 years ago. Do you know what I mean? I met her, we had a conversation, and today we are married and we have a beautiful son together. 25 years. But this moment today would never have happened if I didn't start a conversation with her 25 years ago. I stayed in the game long enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, and the same with like Lincoln Design Co. Do you know what I mean? Like, I first reached out to Dan 10 years ago, and we started with one conversation, one like on Instagram or whatever it was. And then over time, we became buddies. Our friendship grew. We did more things together to the point now where I am a proud partner in that company. Do you know what I mean? So this ability to stay in the game, to have conversations, to commit, do you know what I mean, to something for a long enough period is power. And I don't think it doesn't matter what tech is around. It doesn't matter how quickly other things move. You know, relationships, these things take time. Like, getting good at anything takes time. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, you cannot shortcut mastery. You cannot shortcut getting better at your craft. You cannot shortcut all the things that matter in the world. They cannot be shortcutted. I don't personally believe.
Yeah.
And the people that
that's tough
understand that, I believe, will be the people that win. Because let's say the world does go the way that everybody's saying it might go. I reckon there'll be a point in time where all of these businesses will start hiring the best humans because they need to add more human into their business. And who are they going to hire? The people that have continuously learnt, mastered, you know, being human and building relationships and building recognizable reputations based on their integrity, their competence, their narrative, and their community, you know, their deeds.
I love those, dude. It's great. And it even makes me think, I'm sitting here going, my patience nowadays to tell a young designer that they've got to commit. It's the right advice. I just know that they want things so quickly and so fast because all they see is the overnight successes in social media and all this other stuff. But those are the best words to kind of give them at that time, because it's like, commit to that and you'll see the future kind of lay in front of you. You know what I mean? It really will.
Yeah.
And it might not be saying like, I'm going to narrow into this one particular area. What you decide on just might be an amazing career in the creative industry. That's all you need to do. You don't have to say, I'm going to be the number one hand lettering person in all of LA. Like, you know, because that's like, I think it's unfair to ask someone young to predict the thing they want to be in 15, 20 years. Just commit to that and then build your reputation, build all the good stuff that everyone will admire, and stick with it.
Expedia and Visit Scotland invite you to come experience the beauty that awaits in Scotland. The sweep of wild coastlines, quiet lochs, and untamed landscapes. Fresh cuisine that feels rooted in the land. Come experience the kind of stillness that stays with you long after you leave. Plan your Scottish escape today at expedia.com/Visit Scotland.
Hey, I just Venmo'd you for rent.
Nice. Now I can instantly spend it whether I'm checking out online with Venmo or using a Venmo debit card.
Say more.
More exactly. Because the more you do with Venmo, the more you get. Like earning up to 5% cash back with Venmo Stash on a bundle of brands.
So, order more pizza.
The math demands it.
Get the Venmo debit card.
Venmo Stash bundle terms and exclusions apply. See terms at venmo.me/stash terms. Venmo checkout not available at all merchants. Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A.
Exactly that. Yeah, it's like I said, I am still decide what you want to be known for will evolve with you as a human. Do you know what I mean? It's a never-ending thing, and that's the beauty of it. I'm a big believer in focusing on the process, not the outcome. Do you know what I mean? Because I know if I focus on the process, the things that are meant to happen to me will happen. And I'm a prime example of somebody who is pretty average at a lot of things, but does them with great consistency, who now has a lot of opportunity. Do you know what I mean? And it's
There you go.
purely through
There you
staying
go.
in the game long enough, being very true to myself, my voice, the way I present myself. I would like to think, and you can be testament for this, that I am the same on this podcast as I am on real life, as I am online, that I am in email, that I am on text. You've seen me in enough
1000%.
different situations now to know that, like, I am what I say I am. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like, there
Yeah.
isn't a online version of James and a speaky James and then a workshop James. They're all the same James. Do you know what I mean?
And I have proof. I have
Yeah.
proof. I have evidence.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you should demonstrate it and stay in the game long enough. Do you know
I've
what I mean?
seen it. I've seen it, dude.
But yeah,
I-
it's
I have.
yeah. Sorry, yeah.
That's dude. Okay. So here's my segue. Give us the deets with a T on the book. When's it out? How can they get it? I'll have the link and everything. But when's it
Yeah.
out?
Lovely. Well, it's when does this podcast drop, Nick?
Probably on this Sunday.
Okay,
so
great.
The end of
So,
this week.
It's on pre-order at the moment, and it's the pre-order up until obviously. So the book launches September 10th in the US, and then in Europe around the same time, so September 10th. But
Okay.
it's on pre-order now.
Wonderful.
But if you do pre-order in May, you get access to a book club. So when the book drops, we're all going to be in a
Oh.
community and we're all going to read it together. You get my free MVB course, which is the minimum viable brand, which is where I help you take your own ideas and take them into the world. You get the chance to win some very exclusive MBJ merch, and you also get a load of digital downloads. Do you know what I mean? So for a $40
Amazing.
book, there's a lot, but that's only in May. And then, there's
That's
stuff,
value.
other stuff,
Yeah,
but
there
the
you
big
go.
hit now is in May. So,
love
yeah,
that.
I would love everybody's support. I don't write books for myself, although, do you know what I mean? There's a lot
that's
of knowledge
good
in there.
answer.
There is a little bit of it, which is just for me, because like I said, like the process of now, like 2 years ago, I had this idea for another book. I started writing it, and then now it's done. Do you know what I mean? But the amount of effort and time that's gone into it is pretty
Nice.
crazy. And I've had a lot of help
I could
from
tell,
my
dude.
friends. Do you know
I
what
could
mean?
tell. I'm so excited, dude. I think that what you shared, if that's any indication of kind of like the nuggets that they'll get from it, I think it's going to be a huge success. And so happy for you again, and proud of you, dude, for doing it.
Appreciate
awesome.
you, brother. Thank you.
I want to end on rapid fire because I need
Oh, God, I
one
love
word
a
answers
rapid
from
fire.
James Martin. I need this. All right, are you ready?
Yeah. How
What's
rapid
one
does it
thing
need
every
to be?
creative
Sorry.
speed you could think, but
Okay.
1 or 2 words. 1 or
Okay,
2 word
great.
answers. Are you ready? Okay. What's one thing every creative should start doing this year?
Build a recognizable reputation.
Yes. Good deal. What's the best investment a designer can make in themselves right now, other than that last answer?
Reading books on things and behaviors they struggle with.
I love that. What builds confidence faster than anything else?
Speaking to other humans.
Is there a mistake that you are grateful that you made?
Doing too many drugs as a kid and being kicked out of home and school at 17.
Gotcha. What's more important today? Talent, consistency, or clarity?
Consistency.
Good. Lastly, what do you hope your legacy in design education becomes?
My mission is to help human creativity shape the world. And I have a 3-step plan for that. And 3 steps are earn one of the most trusted reputations within the creative industry. Number 2, build extraordinary opportunity for others. Number 3, create real world impact. If I do half or all of those things, I'll be a happy man.
Nice. I have no doubt you will, dude. I love it. That's great, dude. You're such a good inspiration, dude. I love chatting with you always, for sure. I can't wait for us to make that collaboration together one day in the education world, whatever that becomes. It'd be an honor because I love what you're doing for everybody and the positivity, but the truth bombs as well. Got to be both.
hey, I think this isn't, especially in the world that we are in, where it is about helping the people to do the things that we want to do or are doing, but also more so the grassroots, the juniors coming through. I think that is where more people should collaborate. So rather than just us saying we should, why don't we just do? All right.
I'm going to commit.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's
Decide what you want, Nick. Decide what you want.
I love it.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
That's
great, isn't
the
it?
perfect one.
Yeah.
I love it, dude. All right. Well, dude, I'll have all the stuff down below for the book so people get on it. What a great offer and a great deal. And you're a great dude, bro. Always good to chat with you, man.
I appreciate you. I will leave. Are we staying on? Are we chatting or are you going? What's going on?
You and I will stay on for a bit. But yeah, here.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
There you go. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Thanks again.
Cheers.
If this conversation helped you think a little longer term about your creative career, hit like and subscribe. It helps more than you think. And if you know a creative who's trying to figure out their next move, share this with them. That's how we get this community to grow. Thanks.